Are you looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football and basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/bluewire and use code BLUEWIRE. That's code BLUEWIRE at prizepicks.com/bluewire for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Cars.com. With over 2 million vehicles and 50,000 more added every day, Cars.com will match you with the perfect car for you, your budget, your life, your style. And if you're ready to say goodbye to your current car, Cars.com will get you an instant offer to cash it in. Just start by entering your license plate and get matched with a local dealer who will write you the check. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, just go to Cars.com. It's magical.
Hello, Mavs fans. Welcome to Mavs Party. My God, did we need that win, and we needed one of these because I was getting tired of coming here and being the grumpiest motherfucker y'all have ever heard. Welcome to Mavs Party. It's Kirk Henderson. It's been 30 seconds into the show that I've already cursed, but hey, we're here. We're enjoying ourselves because you know what? Sometimes wins are harder to come by than you might think. The Dallas Mavericks just outlasted the Golden State Warriors 116-113. I just recorded a show with Josh Bowe where we rambled for about a half hour. That might have been one of the more wild Mavericks games of the Luka Doncic tenure. I had a lot of fun watching it. I had a lot of fun yelling at my television for various things. I feel like there were about 1,200 travels called, a bunch of wonky fouls. A real ref show in periods in the third quarter. But overall, the Dallas Mavericks got the win in a big way. Tim Hardaway made some shots, thank God. Josh Green played probably his most important regular season basketball game of his career to date, I think. Might be the second best Maverick tonight, depending on your point of view. Really, really outstanding. Luka Doncic reminded everybody who he is, which, you know, for the Warriors fans that I've been having to deal with for the day and a half, I hope they enjoyed their first Luka Doncic viewing of the season, and they can get over the absolute bullshit that I've been hearing about how it's Luka's fault that the Mavericks are a certain way. But hey, just me. As the chat is mentioning, we had Spencer Dinwiddie get ejected for a flagrant 2, and I wonder it was not a flagrant 2. I don't even think Jordan Poole thought it was a flagrant 2. But hey, you know, on the same day that we find out that the NBA ref who cursed it at Spencer had to spend a day at home in timeout, Spencer gets ejected from a game. That's a little too cute for convenience. But hey, I'm not here to peddle conspiracy theories. I'm a responsible blue checkmark guy. You guys know the deal. You want to come up on stage, hit that speaker request. I'm going to bring you up. You're going to listen for your name. You're also going to see if the green ring around your name is lighting up. Because if it's not, we can't hear you. And I'm going to make a bit of a blanket rule here at the start. I apologize to anybody that comes up. But if we can't hear you, then I'm going to just punch you. Because then I can't hear you on the audio after either. And that's particularly difficult to deal with. All right, coming up first, let's go to my man Henry. How you doing, Henry?
Hey, what's going on, Kirk?
I'm enjoying myself. I was just these early start times are great for me. And then I looked. We have 3 games in a row in February where the Mavericks play at 9, and I'm gonna die. But we're not there yet.
It's too early for you to be in death mode, brother.
That's right. What's happening?
I don't want to be a downer. It's a Mavs party. But it's like I'm seeing some of these kid quotes post game, and
he sucks.
He's just
he has the vibes of a trading card salesman. I want him to go all the way away.
But he's just brutal. Like asking about starting lineups is a waste of time. It's kind of not. It's kind of important to, have your best players on the court. But I mean, hey, what do we know? We're just casuals.
Yeah, just casuals. We wanted a guard on the floor after Spencer Dinwiddie got ejected. But hey, don't let the kid stuff ruin you. Somebody I followed said you got to enjoy the wins, and I retweeted that because I agree. Because I've not had fun doing this when we lose 4 in a row in really maddening fashion. This was fun.
Yeah, it's fun, but I mean, this pace Luke is on, like, we're going to be asking ourselves, is it sustainable? And I just know, like, it's not, which is why we should also enjoy these performances.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got, Kirk. Appreciate it, man.
Sure, buddy. Thanks for coming up. All right, coming up next, let's go to Frank. Hey, Frank.
You got me?
I do. Welcome.
Hey, what's up? I wasn't going to lead with this, but the whole sustainability thing with Luka, it's going to happen the rest of the year. He's going to, be top 2 or 3 or whatever in usage, and, we'll have to live with it. We don't have the facilities to orchestrate, bringing some real help to get the ball out of his hands and whatever, live with it. But we'll get our first round picks next year, dude. It's not going to be his whole tenure here with us, hopefully his whole career. So, but anyways, Reggie, 13 minutes, minus 14. Got to love it.
Reggie will come back to life. I mean, I'm trying to reconcile my belief point with like Jason Kidd being like, hey, Reggie's going back in soon. Doesn't matter how much of a corpse he plays like, but don't worry about that a different day.
I wonder, Kid played him 13 minutes. I wonder if it was, okay, he's clearly struggling.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's hurt. I don't know. He's who knows that guy, but Green clearly taking over. We've been clamoring for minutes, and, in the grand scheme, when you get to game 80, 82 this year and you realize, only 17, 18 games into the season, Josh Green took over. So really it's right on. I think it's right on time. It's not too soon or, too late for him to start really getting real minutes.
I mean, 27 minutes and he closed the game. I really can't ask for more than that. Really can't. I mean, between him, Timmy, and Reggie, you got to divvy up a certain number of minutes. I'm glad he stuck with Josh tonight because Josh is sort of his sort of like manic energy. He just keeps going whenever things are going bad, and sometimes that has a really negative effect. But tonight, like, there were a couple of times when the Mavericks could have folded, and when Josh is in the game, there's just things happening that he helped make happen, and push them forward. I mean, that was really nice to see.
Indeed. And in conclusion, Luka is him, obviously. Let's just see what he decides to show on against Detroit, because if he comes out with the nonchalant, I don't want to be here shit, it's just going to piss me off because the guy is the best player on the court. When's the last time you said another player was the best player on the court? They wanted to say it was Kawhi when, even when we were losing those series, but your eye test said this guy is the best dude on the court. Maybe not the best defender, blah, blah, blah. But can he just not come out and steal their souls? Like Detroit, we should beat them by 50.
My God. And he didn't even shoot the ball that well for a huge chunk of the game. Like, he airballed the free throw, and I want to say in the first half he was 4 of 12. I could be wrong there.
Yeah.
Man, he was nuts.
And not with this. That might, people we can talk about, when Luka shoots 80% from the free throw line or 35% consistently throughout the year from 3, that's going to be the next level. And yeah, those people are not wrong. But the next level is when Luka starts taking this shit serious, his body, the games against shit competition, his maturity raising up, and him not letting himself play down his competition or thinking he's going to just play himself into shape. But
right.
That's all I got.
Appreciate you, Frank. Thanks for coming up. All right. Coming up next then, let's go to my man, Simon. How we doing?
How you doing, Kirk?
Welcome back.
How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for joining again.
All right. I want to focus on two main topics for tonight. Let's put aside big picture Maverick stuff and Jason Kidd's coaching and all that stuff.
Would love to do that.
Yeah. First of all, just the game tonight. It was an entertaining as hell basketball game, down to like the fact that like in the third quarter at some point I was laughing out loud because on one possession Luka gets called for a travel, right? And then the next possession Stephen Curry gets called for a travel. Like, when have you ever seen that in an NBA basketball game where like the two superstars like back-to-back possessions are called for traveling? So yeah. that in and of itself was entertaining. The fourth quarter was great, and all that kind of stuff. You know, back and forth game late in the game. So that was just fun. So putting aside all the consternation of where the Mavericks go from here and yada yada yada. All right. Second topic is Luka himself, because one thing that I've come to learn about Luka in the years that I've been watching him, going back to his days with Real Madrid and Slovenia before he even got to the NBA, it seems to me that Luka excels at the parts of the game that are difficult and unteachable. You know, his no-look passes, his off-the-dribble, the pass he made in the fourth quarter, like going right, off the dribble, one-handed scoop through traffic to Josh Green one. Yeah, exactly.
That was the craziest fucking thing I've seen him do in a long time.
Laugh out loud. I mean, it was insane. But then on the flip, and on top of that, it was one of his better defensive games that he played in his career. He got in the passing lane for a couple steals. He made a great play on Steph Curry late in the game where Curry drove on him, and he stripped the ball and it went off Curry's leg, and Dallas got possession again. It's just it was he was obviously clearly engaged tonight, which I don't know if he really was in the two games over the weekend, where it seemed like a lot of times, like when, especially in the Toronto game where they doubled him, he just like gave it up and he's like, all right, you guys go do it. I don't really care. Like he was engaged, especially in the second half. He was just fully engaged. But it seems that like the simple, mundane parts of the game, just, I don't know if they bore him or they're beneath him or he just can't seem to master them if he doesn't have like the level of, the free throws. I mean, it bothers me because the difference is, all right, like if you take a player like LeBron James, right? LeBron James, his free throw struggles are somewhat explicable because of his shooting mechanics and the ball path, right? Because LeBron, when he shoots his free throws, he tucks the ball at his right hip and then he brings it up to his left, and the ball path is all wanky. So you can kind of explain it. But with Luka, his mechanics are pretty solid, except for the fact that when he's struggling from the free throw line, he hitches at the top. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's why you see him airball, or you see him like barely graze the front of the rim. And it seemed, the first game against Phoenix, he goes 13-13 from the free throw line. And you think like, all right, like finally, like he's coming to this, he's starting to figure this out. And then you get but he just regressed. That's the difference between him being a top 3 or 4 player in the league and being the best player in the league, which is what his ceiling is. His ceiling is the freaking best player in the NBA. And it's just like those little things that are holding him back because
he's still got so much he can improve.
That's the thing. Crazy. Exactly. And it's just because the things that he does, no one else does the things that he does. No one controls tempo like he does. The way I would describe it is he has the best floor game in the NBA. And the only thing that's holding him back is just converting opportunities that are relatively easy the way like Steph Curry does or like Jokic does, right? Where like Jokic never like misses a bunny or a chippy, or or he makes 80+% of his free throws, and Steph makes 90+% of his free throws. Like, that's the only thing holding him back. But he's just so goddamn entertaining and so captivating, especially on a night like tonight, where he's engaged and he's playing to the rhythm of the game. He's like, when he gives the ball up, he goes and gets it right back, like he wasn't doing the last 2 games. Goddamn. I mean, just fun shit, man. Like, just really fun shit.
I agree. Fun game. And not, it's been a while. Even, it's a shame because when you go on a 4-game losing streak, there are elements of that Boston game and Milwaukee game that are actually really awesome. And we're all just sort of frustrated, and we don't get to talk about elements of the game that were really cool. Mm-hmm. I mean, some of the stuff Luka did tonight, where it's just the wraparound pass while getting double teamed, like the bounce back, like, this is stupid. It's stupid. Nobody tries that stuff. Like, LeBron James is the only other person who tries that stuff. Luka gets a lot of bullshit James Harden comps from people who don't know how to read and really don't know what they're watching. But Luka wants to pass the ball. He wants to make the crazy pass. The crazy fun pass is so much more interesting to him than the 6-foot bunny. You could just tell.
He doesn't. Yeah, I don't think it's his natural inclination to just dribble the air out of the ball. Like, he seems to want to play the game, quote unquote, the right way. Now, the other thing that you could kind of criticize him for is that, he's in his 5th year now. He, to my eye, he hasn't really developed, his off the ball game. Like, put it this way. Like, even like his 3-point shooting, right? And like, the reason I don't get hung up on his 3-point shooting is because 3-point shooting comes and goes, right? The way I do on the free throw shooting, because the free throw shooting should be consistent. That's a part of the game that should be consistent, right? Even if like you're 5 of 17 from the field, you should be able to go up there and make 10 out of 11 free throws. But the thing with Luka, just technically, right? Even when he has an open 3, he'll put it on the ground and just go into the step back for no reason. Even if it's contested, because he's just so much more naturally comfortable doing it that way.
Right.
But he needs to. I don't know if he needs to get the skill development coach. I don't know what the solution for that is. But he doesn't get a lot of catch and shoot. He doesn't get a lot of catch and shoot opportunities as it is, just because of the roster construction. But even in the rare occasion that he does, he doesn't want to. He doesn't seem to want to do it. And like the shot at the end of the 3rd quarter, right, where it was a step back going right, and he barely grazed. Like, he's uncomfortable with that. But the step back going left, it just seems to be the only way that he's comfortable even attempting a 3-point shot. And if he could just diversify that a little bit more, it just would add. It would add so much more to like a guy who's already a fucking top 3 player or whatever. Or I don't know how you rank him, but like, whatever he is, he's up there.
Right.
But I'm saying that's the difference between him being top 3, top 4 player in the league, top whatever all time. I mean, obviously we're a long way away from that. But what he can do puts him in the conversation of like potentially being in the upper echelon of anybody who's ever played the game. And it's just like these little things that's like, I don't know, man. I played, I played at I played Division III basketball, like whatever, like, it's like whatever. So I kind of like, I noticed these like little technical things.
Sure.
But that's really all that's holding him back. It's not anything physical. It's not like anything that people were saying before the draft, like, oh, he's going to struggle. He's improved. He's going to struggle with athletics.
That like coming into the draft, people said he was right hand dominant, and he comes in the league and he has a left hand. So it makes me he's gonna continue to close the gaps on these things. It's a matter of him making it a thing he wants to do, and he'll just get better at it. I mean, yeah, he's unreal.
Yeah, and he's entertaining as hell. He seems to just have a great like kind of personality. He seems to be able to laugh at himself, and he seems to like. When he makes a bad turnover or when he gets called for traveling or whatever, like he's just like he laughs it off, and his post game stuff is just like, he's just very nonchalant, and he doesn't seem to take himself too seriously, and he's just very, very, very enjoyable in that way. And man, great game.
Thanks for coming up tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
Right,
it was
soon.
good talking to you.
Good. All right, we're gonna go to our resident hype
Hey,
man.
Kirk, how's it going?
Chris Haley, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, nothing much. I'm just really, 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 really happy we won this game. Going on a 5-game losing streak would be like really dark days for us, but it's nice on a national TV game to, in years past, I mean, this has Mavs meltdown written all over it. You're up 17. I mean, it is the Warriors, but they get back in the game, and we found a way where we almost lost it by missing a free throw, and then, Klay Thompson's going to easily hit that wide open 3-pointer and going to overtime. I mean, has this happened to us so many times on national TV that happens? We go into overtime and then we lose.
Oh, I'm so glad, because I just would have like
the
defense
foul,
in that last play.
There were so many things that I was like, when Dinwiddie's going out of the game, I'm like, okay, you only got one ball handler now. This is just like, how are we going to hold on? But thank God they did. Luka is just epic. It's crazy. I would like to see them have Bertans in more. I think we can all see that, because I don't think he ever misses.
I don't disagree with you, but like, how wild is it where we're all like, there's a lot of the fan base that is like, you know what? Give me more Dave Burt. And it's just like, what
put him on the weak side,
on?
weak side of the floor. He has any kind of space. He shoots. I mean, he makes it most of the time. That's his job. I know.
Well, he feels like he's playing a video game.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I'm going to shoot this. This is what I do. I love it.
And I'll live with him if he's not playing great defense. It really just depends on who we're playing at the time, who he's matched up against. But, I mean, God, if they're going to focus more on Luka and have him on the opposite side of the weak side of the floor, I mean, just take three. Take the threes that Tim Hardaway Jr., thank you for having a decent game tonight. I'm glad you're making threes. Hopefully this is a start to something. But, yeah, I would like to see Bertans take bullet shots, Tim Hardaway shots, all these impulsive threes. I would rather Bertans take them than the other guys. So I really, really hope this is the game that gives Tim Hardaway Jr. confidence, because I'm not hating on him. I just want him to play good, and we all want him to play good. He's healthy. I mean, you're out there playing lots of minutes. I mean, you're taking shots, wide open shots. We want you to make them. So,
I mean, he's a really fun regular season player.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how much Mavs can get away with playing him in the playoffs, but there are some matchups where it's just like, hey, Dovbert, go run. Go be nuts.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and he played pretty good in the playoffs. And
he did.
And, with Tim Hardaway, I mean, getting back to him, in the playoffs, he wasn't even there. And we went to the Western Conference Finals, so he's not even the key here. But if you look at the standings, it's pretty nuts right now. I mean, it's so early, right? But it's seeds 6 through 15 besides us. They're all on losing streaks, or losing one game at least. But some are, Utah's back down to earth. They're on a 5-game losing streak. Sacramento, 3-game losing streak. So everything's so wide open. We just need to go on like a 3-4 game winning streak and get back to the, 4th, 5th seed at least. And, things would be good. And lastly, Jaden Hardy, I'm glad to see him on the bench. I'm really hoping he gets some minutes against Detroit. Do you think he will?
Yes, I do. If they keep him up, is that an away game?
Yes.
It's going to be interesting to see if he travels. If he goes with them to Detroit, because they've been kind of shipping him up and down. I mean, one of the many kid criticisms is they have no idea how to manage what Hardy's time is like, because it's a logistical problem, and it strikes me as like there's nobody on the coaching staff that has given this much thought. Because like they were home. The Legends played 4 home games. I know this because I got an email like every 25 minutes from the Legends for 5 straight days about all their home games. And the Mavericks were on the road. So like that sort of stuff's a little bit difficult. So you got to like tie up the time together and make sure that he can both get minutes, have the opportunity for minutes with the Mavericks, while also then being able to go down and play with the Legends if they're here. Like they played well. I want to say they played tonight too. So
yeah, just against bad teams, he needs to get the reps, just like Josh Green. And it's taken a lot longer for Josh Green to come around. And I'm so happy for him. I hope he just continues to develop and just keeps hitting those wide open threes. He's just a hustle guy.
He took 2 shots tonight. 2 of his 3 makes were not wide open. They were like contested makes. They were good shots
on a national TV game too. So I'm happy for them. Hopefully we can see Hardy, and let's just We need to go on a winning streak.
That's right. Well, thanks, buddy. Appreciate you stopping by.
Yes, sir.
All right.
This is advertiser content brought to you by Frito-Lay.
Hello, I'm Chip Murphy, here to get you ready for the big tournament. Tonight we break down who will be cutting. Cut! What are you two doing?
Sorry, Chip. Prez here got his feathers ruffled when I told him Ruffles has zero chance of winning the title.
And I was letting Dip know that she is not taking into account Ruffles' iconic ridges.
Guys, it's March. We have to start talking about the tournament.
We are. It is the 2023 Frito-Lay Snack It.
We're talking about big-time matchups between Cheetos, Smart Food, Lay's, Sun Chips, and more.
Just head to the Frito-Lay Snack Bracket and vote for your favorite chip, pretzel, or dip for a chance to win up to $1,000 or a year's worth of snacks.
This sounds great. Keep up the good work.
Just go to fritolaysnackit.sbnation.com. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends 4/3/2023. Void where prohibited. Here's worth of snacks awarded in the form of 52 coupons, each good for one bag of chips. See official rules at fritolaysnackit.sbnation.com.
All right. Coming up next, we got Jordan, who's been waiting for a bit. How we doing, Jordan? Welcome to the chat. Jordan's got a skinny Luka Doncic photo as his avatar. We'll see if he can get the audio to work on his end. If you switch in and out of the apps, sometimes it does not, like the audio doesn't register for me. So why don't we we'll punch you from the stage, try to come back up, and we will see if we can get you back up here in a second. Okay, coming up next is Christian. How you doing, Christian? What's up, buddy?
Oh, man. I hope you can hear me all right. I'm dealing with COVID, so man, this game took about all the energy I had, and today between the U.S. and Iran game, I mean, I think I have depleted any energy that I had. But good to talk to you. The question I had is, and look, I mean, kids given Josh Green, 27 minutes, 28 minutes tonight. Do you think with Tim playing the way that he has been, and, I mean, we know I'm still confident Reggie's shot's going to come around like it does every time at the start of the new year. But I think what's more worrying to me is Reggie's defense seems to have fallen off.
Pretty bad. No, that's true.
And that, like even last year, his defense was still really good, even though the shot wasn't falling. He's about to be 32. Do you think it's worth giving Josh Green a shot in the starting lineup, at least in kind of the interim, to see what he might be able to do in that role with, Spence, Dorian, and clearly Dwight Powell at this?
I mean, I think it's worth trying so long as you have some confidence in all parties involved. I think both with Tim and with Reggie, if you are concerned, like, you want to make them playable in the sense that if you're looking to improve the team, do you want to have them as an asset? Tim playing through his struggles has been incredibly frustrating for me because I just don't, at this point, and I love Tim. We'll always love Tim. He was so important, but I have 60 games of data with Tim. Prior tonight, he has 60 games under Jason Kidd and shot 32% from three. That's a big enough sample size for me. And Istok Franco kind of posted about this, and he was looking at Tim's whole career of shooting. It looks like the 2 years with Rick were the 2 years he shot the best. And those things, and Rick is no longer here. So they're going to have to they're trying to let Tim play through in no small part because I think they want to try to trade him. And I don't necessarily think they would want to trade Reggie Bullock because his contract's actually fantastic. But anything has to be on the table. So they have to balance all that with Josh Green's development. And I know this will make people like fly off the handle in a fit of rage, you also have Josh Green on the table as a potential asset.
Yeah, and I think that's part of where my mind is because, look, 2 years has already passed on Josh Green's contract. I know we picked up the option for next year, but I also want to really kind of have an idea of what we're going to pay him. Because at this point, I think regardless the figure he gets, unless it's something like $5 million, which if he keeps playing this way, he's going to make more than that. I just feel like I don't know what that number is. And whenever some hypothetical number does come out for an extension potentially, I don't know how to feel about that. And so I kind of wanted to at least see it. And I think this is kind of one of the more opportune times to do that, just because of the fact that, we can see what he is. And I think I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I saw a lot of people on Twitter today, like, look, Josh Green, he's taking those wide open threes and he's hitting them. It's like he wasn't taking wide open threes today. Like,
no, they're good. They're like real offense, like actual functional stuff. It wasn't like, oh, okay, we'll just let this guy shoot. It was nice.
Exactly. And if I'm remembering correctly, one was like he was about to, like, it was either a jab step or he was about.
Oh, yeah. He pass faked to the right corners from the right wing. He pass faked and basically got himself open on that pass fake and then just shot the ball. It's nice.
Exactly. So it's been really heartening to see that. I think a lot of, and, talking about, I think he got like 5 points wiped off of, from fouls.
Oh, yeah. The non-Luka travel. That was, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, I'm interested to see how this shakes out. And I think the larger point you made is what's most important to me is, look, if we can get some value from these guys, and I love Reggie. I think his shot's going to come around like it does every new year. But if we can extract some assets for being a team that's depleted, and, regardless if we go on a run or not, I don't think our ceiling is anything really more than the first round. But with Luka, you just kind of never know. And, with matchups, you kind of never know. But I just really think all options should be on the table, and really interested to see how Josh Green and some of these other guys can hopefully play. But appreciate it as always, Kirk. Hope you have a great night. It was good talking with you, brother.
You too, buddy. Feel better. All right, let's go to Ashan. What's up, man?
Hello.
How are we doing?
Hey, man. I'm a little sick, and I'm in the middle of a move. So I'm happy that the Mavericks have started my day off well. The game actually... See, my thing right now is... Okay, I understand that if we have one player like Tim every game that can... give us 20. We're just this infinitely better team, which is what makes me a little more upset right now about not having Brunson, because at least Brunson wasn't that'd be a more dependable 20 from someone else. And I know it's a good win, but nothing changes. Nothing is changing with this win. We're going to run the same sets next game. We're going to have the same issues, and only one or everybody will hit their shots, or everybody.
I don't disagree.
Over again.
I don't disagree at all. Josh Bowe and I said the same thing on our show, where they fixed precisely nothing. It's just you saw some regression from Tim Hardaway, and I use regression in the positive fashion because he's been shooting so damn bad. There's really nowhere to go but up.
And
so
I mean, that's the only good thing right now. It's that I think we've seen literally the worst performing Mavericks. Like in this week in play, I think we saw it over the last 5 games. And yeah, it'll just go back to what it was last season. We don't make our shots or lose. And regardless, so it's gone to a point where I can't really take many positives from a win, because we've seen the inconsistency again and again and again. So, I mean, this was a great way. We're on a great run right now. If you remember last year, we were called the streak breakers because that's what we were doing.
Sure.
I just hope that kid eventually gets back into the December mold he was in last year and starts doing some different shit, because I'm not understanding this. You have to rotate between Bullock or THJ in the starting lineup. Put both on the bench. Let Josh play. See what happens.
But I just said why though.
With regards to,
it's because they don't want if you want tradable candidates, you can't just tether them to the bench. You need to give them minutes to try to play through their fuckery. I mean, they did give Reggie no minutes tonight, relatively speaking. 14 for Reggie's got to be the lowest he's played in a long time. I'm looking it up right now.
I don't think Tim has value around the league as a starter. Like, if you put him in a bench role and you see that he can provide a spark off the bench, I think his value to a lot of teams. But he's not
provided a spark off the bench.
So I'm saying,
laid bricks.
Now that...
We there? Might have lost to Sean.
Oh.
Well, then there we go.
Yeah, I was just saying it's worth bring him off the bench and see if he can work instead. Because I think that's where his real value will lie when it comes to trading him away. There's no contending team that wants
he's not been good off the starter. He's been garbage off the bench. You juice his numbers though. Like when playing with the starters, you're juicing his stats. Like I understand what you mean. He's not a starter, obviously. I don't disagree with that whatsoever. But if you can juice his stats to be up from 28% to 34%, then maybe it makes it a little more manageable in terms of trying to move on from him at some point.
I mean, I agree with you also. Like you're not wrong either. I think we need to find the line between playing winning basketball and bringing up the value of our players. Or unless we like last year and we make a move at the last possible second, unless there's a move coming in December, January, I think it's a little silly to just play this consistent game for the next 2.5 months, hoping that by February, players like Tim will have value. And I agree with you on Bullock's contract not being bad. Even if he's being streaky right now, 3&D players do have value.
Right.
Yeah, and it's on a team option, so control.
So hear me out though. I think that there's an element of this where, particularly with some of these guys, they've played so bad.
Yep.
It's kind of hard to I was reading some just and we talk about this stuff every day, you and I do, where it's I see the numbers and I see them game to game, and then you watch one good game. It's oh, okay, that could be a thing. Now, do I still think they need, I'm not necessarily concerned about Green's starter minutes. I am interested to see how many minutes Green gets with Luka, because the Luka Green minutes seem to work because he provides that little element of a spark. And how we get more of these varied lineups, honestly, starts and ends with Luka not checking out at the start of a game he thinks that they can win. That's been underratedly important because he's just been such ass for a long time.
Luka played playoff basketball today.
He did.
I haven't seen him play this good defense in the playoffs last year. Today, locked in Luka is scary. It reminded me of LeBron in 2016 or that one game he had against, where it's basketball and he did everything he could.
Yeah, he was real good. Loved watching that tonight.
Over the losing streak.
Well, thanks for hanging out. You got anything else?
No, just one last thing. Thanks for having me. Christian Wood might have had a bad game, but I think his movement of the ball and his defensive awareness is getting better each game.
He's got to play more to develop it. It's just there's no way around it. And I think it drives Kid nuts because Kid just wants him to be better. But he can't be better until he plays. And the Warriors are a bitch of a team to try to be better about it defense because they throw so many actions at you.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. There was that one play he blocked Kuminga. I think he showed great awareness. Cool. He didn't bite on any pump fakes. He was trying his best. And I think
he was in the lane for 9 seconds. I'm what is happening?
Yeah, I think Kuminga tried 6 pump fakes before he took that shot.
What's going on? How is this not a thing? All right. Well, thanks for joining us, dude.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. All right. Let's go to Jordan again. How you doing, Jordan?
Hey, Kirk. Can you hear me?
I can.
Cool. So, my favorite part of the game was right after Spencer got ejected. The next 2 or 3 possessions, just seeing Luka on the bench and seeing the misery and the bad play, just like everything was being fumbled, those 2-3 possessions, and then the timeout was called, and Luka's like, I guess I'm going back in.
It was so painful. I was screaming at my television because it's just like, oh, sure, let's let Josh run point. And Josh's post-game quotes are hysterical because he was like, well, I haven't played points since high school. Cool.
Yeah, and then just like you see that those couple of possessions, and then timeout, Luka comes back in, and it just seems like a completely different team. Like it really does. And just defense gets better, offense gets better, everything just starts getting better. And it's insane what Luka does for this team. And if that's not MVP, I don't know what is.
I like it. I like that take. That's a good, solid take. They just need to figure out how to do it for like 60 more games and then make the playoffs as like a 3 seed.
Yeah. And, 06 was painful. 07 was even more painful. Like I've come to a realization to just like, I usually wait till closer to All-Star break before I start like really like getting into what this team is going to be for this season. Yeah, I want them to win every single game, but this is the first game of the season that I've really like actually had passion into the game because it's Steph, it's Clay, it's Draymond, Western Conference Finals, this whole thing. And it's Steph, Steph versus Luka is always going to be exciting, I think, until Steph retires, because I'm pretty sure he's going to retire first.
I think that's probably right. Yeah, it is fun. It's also like such a different like stylistic game because they are such different players. And yet you can see like elements of just how they both see the game. That was fun because Curry doesn't like drive a ton compared to like he drives 3 times less than Luka Doncic. But when he does drive, it's just so chaotic. And he uses he's not the quickest guy on earth. So he has to use kind of similar, fakes and pauses and things like that in his game. This was fun. It's also really like, I love watching Luka beat good teams in the post. That was fun.
Yeah, and Luka, man, like somewhere he clicked there in the second half of the fourth quarter, and man, he was just picking everything off. He was blocking shots. He was, he just like everything was Luka. Defense, offense, everything was Luka, and it was crazy to see that, just him stepping up like that defensively too, not just the steals. He was guarding people, forcing people to pass and stuff like that. And his lateral quickness was insane in the fourth quarter. I don't think we've ever seen his lateral quickness that quick in the fourth quarter before.
You're right. He didn't look tired. That's a good point. I like that.
And it just that really surprised me to see him guarding Steph, guarding Klay Thompson, some Jordan Poole, these real quick guys making him pass. And I think Jordan Poole sold this game for the Warriors. He made a lot of bad decisions. He's trying to be Steph, and he is not.
The travel stuff is so, not to get too in the weeds, but the travel stuff is going to really impact him because he did this against the Mavs last year. I remember in the playoffs being like, isn't that, he does a lot of stuff that's like borderline where he I don't know how to describe it, but you can probably look stuff up on YouTube where he really sort of bends the interpretation of the rule, and it depends what the ref is looking at. And he's the one who kind of got the refs on the travel calling spree.
Yeah. Yeah, because he did it, I think it was back-to-back possessions.
Yeah, in the first quarter, I think, or first half.
Yeah, and man, there was like 10 travels, I think, something like that.
I've never seen that many travels in a game.
And it was, like, you see people trade, 3-pointers. You don't ever see players trade travels.
I appreciate you hanging out tonight. You got anything else for us?
No, Kirk. Thanks for having me.
Sure. Talk soon. Hope you come back. All right, let's go with my friend Mr. Dang. Doe, what do you got for us?
Oh my God. It's nice to finally relish a win and see Jason Kidd make some adjustments, you know.
Did he? I don't know if he made any adjustments. We can't hear you very well. Come back.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. I thought he made a few, you know. At least he played Green a whole lot more. That defense.
That's true.
That defense that Wood played on Poole was amazing. He really frustrated Poole, you know.
Yes, he did.
Oh my God, he got in his head, you know, that little body slam that they had in the corner and stuff. I was laughing my ass off. It was the best WWE I've seen all year. But it's nice to finally get a win. I hope things can change, you know. It's good that they didn't pay Bullock a whole lot, you know, like it said. And we won despite Wood not playing very well. And Hardaway, oh my God, I don't think that's the real Hardaway. I don't know where that guy came from, you know. But it was amazing to see. So thanks for letting me vent something good for once.
That's right. Thanks for coming up. Talk soon, okay?
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to go to Ben next. How you doing, Ben?
Hey, Kirk. How you doing?
I am all right. Welcome back to the show. What's going on?
Oh, nothing much. It's been a while. I don't think I've been on since the season started. I figured I'd come in on a streak, a lost streak ender.
Sure.
Yeah, no, it was a great game. Luka played great. It was like, I felt like this was the kind of win that we got used to last couple years, and that's great. Like, it just felt like the standard middle of the season win, you know, tough it out, have your role players come in and do some cool things. So that felt good. The bad part about that to me is that, like, Christian Wood had a KP game, you know, like that's how it felt to me, you know. And I know there's
that. That's a tough indictment, but I also don't disagree because I felt he was inexplicably soft.
Yeah, I mean, and he can obviously, you know, we can gripe about the rotations, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So if he can't do so, I don't know if it's, you know, I think it's more important. Kidd thinks that we should have the outside shooting improve. You know, that's why I start Hardaway. I don't think he can afford to put Hardaway and Wood on the floor at the same time to start a game.
They're
defensively
together,
right? So those guys have to be kind of not playing together. Bertans can help that, I think. If you've got a little bit of a lead, if you got a 5-8 point lead at the end of the first quarter, you know, and at the end of the third quarter, you can put Bertans in for 5 minutes. I mean, he might score fucking 15 points.
Yeah.
But he's going to pick up 2 fouls too, you know. But he might get a steal, you know, the energy's there. So it was cool to see that, you know, and Josh Green, obviously that when he drove to the basket and like went up in the air and spun and then threw it out to maybe Finney-Smith. I can't remember. That was stupid. That was a ridiculous play. Maybe it was Hardaway hit, you know, obviously Hardaway hit some threes too, which was good. But I mean, yeah, we got to shop Hardaway. We have to. I mean, before he hurt his foot last year, I feel like he was started to play kind of okay, and then he broke his foot. So who knows what would have happened if he hadn't, you know, we might have been able to lose him last year.
He was not having a good season. Like,
no.
The part that was maddening.
But we were obviously trying to showcase, you know, just like you were saying earlier, like we got to give him the minutes to hope that if Kidd's out on Wood, you know, is he going to try to, you know, can you try to package up, you know, Wood and Hardaway? I don't know. I don't want to get too ahead of that kind of talk, but
sure.
This was a fun win. It was good. You can see the things that could work, but all the dominoes have to fall in the right order. And Luka's domino falls 9 times out of 10. Dinwiddie's falls a lot. But after that, we haven't had anything really consistent. And tonight we saw enough of the dominoes, you know.
That's
so
right.
It felt good, but we have the same questions and concerns. But I don't know. That's kind of all I wanted to say. Just good to listen all the time. Like I said, I haven't gotten up to talk in a while, but a good group.
Well, we needed a win. And I think as we get closer, if the Cowboys are playing well, that tends to distract a fair amount of our fan base, and so maybe these will be kind of less sparsely attended until February. But that's okay. I still have fun.
No. Yeah, I always listen. I just don't always get up. But tonight felt like a good one to chime in. So,
well, I'm glad you did. Thanks for coming up, Ben. Talk soon.
All right, man. See y'all.
All right, I think we got one more person waiting. Keen, welcome to the show. What do you got for us?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Kurt. I just want to say, thanks for putting this on. I think before these things, whenever there would be a loss, I'd be super down. I'd be super angry. But to be in this group with everyone else and a sort of shared trauma, I think it's always been a good way for me to
shared trauma.
Losses.
Yes,
I mean, this is
what fandom is.
Yeah, exactly. But so my question is, it's kind of interesting that the Warriors decided to let Luka play his game. The past 4 games, the other teams have just been doubling him, getting the ball out of his hands, and the Mavs have just looked like complete shit, especially after Dinwiddie went out. I would think just to hard double Luka, get the ball out of his hands, and have him pass to Josh Green, who hasn't played point guard since he was in elementary school. But it was a weird thing. That's why I feel like Luka really went off. And on top of that, you've always talked about running sets, and Jason Kidd never likes to run sets. And I have a friend who was watching the game with me. He's not a Mavs fan, but he hated watching this offense. And I said I hate it too sometimes, just because it's Luka dribbles, passes it around, and then it gives it back to Luka with 5 seconds left. Or Dinwiddie tries to create by himself to the rim. But I just think we need to start running some sets, especially looking across the court to the Warriors and how much they run, fake handoffs and everything. I think we just need to start running some sets because it's just brutal to watch.
It's not the best. Because when it's not working, it's pretty brutal. I will say that the thing that I think the Warriors have working in their favor for why they didn't throw that second double is last year in the playoffs they didn't need to. Luka mismatched hunted Looney a ton, which was a mistake. Looney might be the best big at guarding Luka in the league in those mismatches. So instead what Luka did was instead of hunting the mismatch on the outside, he just took whoever was guarding him into the post. He still missed a lot of shots. He actually didn't get that many shots in the true restricted area. He was taking, I want to say Josh told me he was 5 of 11 inside the paint maybe. I could be getting some of my numbers wrong. Luka still played an incredibly strong game, but in that first half, he missed a lot of shots, it's 8-footers that he normally is good with. And, I think particularly if you've looked at the numbers with what Luka does in the fourth quarter, you sort of expect him to run out of gas, and he just didn't, which was nice.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because he had to come back with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, but it looked like, he wasn't really, aiming for Looney at this time. He was aiming for Steph. Because they kept switching off to Steph, and then he would try to back him down. And, yeah, like you said, he was missing some of those 8-footers. But he was making some at the end. But the only other comment that I have is about Josh Green's shot. I think I saw an article that said that they were trying to change his shot last year, and it wasn't really working. I didn't actually read that article, but I don't know if he's went back to his original shooting form. I always think he's going to miss it because he's leaning back. He's twisting his body. But it's been going in, so, I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And, we had Sean Marion on this team for the longest time, and we're going to talk about a jacked-up shot. So, I mean, just keep doing what you're doing. When I see it, I always love the Klay Thompson shot. But, I mean, if it's going in, just going in.
That's right. It's kind of hard to argue with success because I want to say it's not true now, but I'm going to look this up. NBA true shooting percentage leaders 2022. I looked this up because at one point in time, Josh Green was it was only 5 games into the season, but he was leading the league in true shooting percentage. So this is before tonight's game where he went 5-7, 3 of 5. He's third in the league in true shooting percentage.
Wow.
It's 73.6 because he's connecting on so many threes. His 3-point shooting numbers, if he shoots enough volume, are going to normalize. Right now from 3, he is 50%. He's shooting 50% from 3. And that's not a real thing. It's just not. Even because if he plays more minutes, he's shooting 2.5, 2.2 per game. his numbers will eventually go up. Like, I would love to see him shoot between 3 and 5 3-pointers a game. If he's doing that, he's not going to shoot 50% unless he's better than Steph Curry. But it's been fun to watch him to watch him figure stuff out. And he's earning the minutes bit by bit.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got, man. Thanks, Kurt.
Sure.
Talk to you next time.
Talk soon. Guys, great chat. In and out in under an hour. Everybody's excited, but everybody's also tired. We'll be back here Thursday where they play the Pistons, and then they have that weird Saturday day game. I'm not sure what's going to happen there because I'm not sure if my wife will just let me disappear for 2.5 hours following the game to do all my post-game shows. So we will see. Oh, Shishiab makes a really good point. We'll just talk about this before we go. Nobody brought up Kemba. So obviously the Mavericks did sign Kemba Walker to a non-guaranteed deal, which is truly interesting. He's on the Mavs starting probably next week when they'll figure that out. I don't have any real thoughts on his role. I do not care for the process whatsoever because you do not bring in a street free agent at any point if you're a team that expects to really go places. That's just not a thing, not at 20 games into the season. But I did love what Kemba Walker have to say about Mr. Patel in the chat says Kemba bringing up leadership. I think that there's the locker room vibes sort of suck. And I think that having a guy, a veteran like Kemba does matter. And that is something that I'm sort of looking forward to because I think Luka needs another guy that can talk to him at near, obviously he's not an all-NBA guy or anything like that. He might have been one year. I don't remember. But he's a very well-respected and well-liked player. And I think it's good to have that guy in the locker room. So I'm curious to see if that helps. I made the joke, tired signing Kemba Walker to play basketball, wired Kemba Walker coming into the locker room to help things out, and inspired is Kemba Walker is going to be the new head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. All right, guys, I had a lot of fun. You guys are great. Everyone have a great night, and we will talk to you guys on Thursday.